The most underestimated country on Earth may also be one of the most strategically important. You rarely fear it. You rarely question it. Most days you barely notice it, and that might be the mistake. Canada does not storm borders. It does not dominate headlines. It does not threaten the global order with speeches or missiles. It does something far more powerful. It waits. Because power does not always roar, sometimes it positions. Canada projects an image of calm, politeness, peace, predictability. But beneath that image stands a nation shaped by empire, tested by war, sitting on resources the world is running out of, and anchored in geography that may define the next century. Look at a map. 3 oceans, the longest coastline on Earth, vast freshwater reserves, forests that stretch beyond sight, oil fields, critical minerals essential for modern batteries and green technology. And above it all, the Arctic. Ice is retreating. Sea routes are opening. Distances between continents are shrinking. Whoever influences those routes influences global trade. Yet when you picture Canada, you think of kindness. That perception is not accidental. It is strategic. The truth is not that Canada is secretly aggressive. The truth is that Canada understands something many nations forget. Stability is leverage. Most countries build myths around strength. Canada built a reputation for reliability. To understand that reputation, you must go back centuries. Long before Canada existed, indigenous civilizations thrived across this land. Trade networks spanned rivers and forests. Governance systems were rooted in territory and tradition. Then European ships arrived. Flags were raised. Alliances formed. Promises made and broken. France claimed waterways. Britain claimed territory. Battles were fought not in Paris or London, but in North American wilderness. In 1763, imperial victory reshaped the continent. The land did not become free. It became British. But unlike the colonies to the south, this region did not explode into revolution. It evolved. Confederation in 1867 was negotiated, not declared through war. Expansion moved westward. Yet calm politics hid harsh consequences. Indigenous nations were displaced. Residential schools attempted cultural erasure. Trauma accumulated quietly. Still, Canada cultivated an identity of moderation, not a superpower. Not an empire, not revolutionary, just steady. During 2 world wars, Canadian forces fought fiercely overseas. At Vimy Ridge, sacrifice forged confidence. After victory, Canada did not pursue conquest. It pursued alliances. In the Cold War, it stood beside the United States. It helped guard Arctic skies through NORAD. It acted as mediator and peacekeeper. Here lies the paradox. Canada depends deeply on American economic and military power. Its trade flows south. Its security umbrella overlaps. So how do you stand next to a superpower without disappearing inside it? Canada chose subtle influence, strong regulation, resource wealth, diplomatic credibility. When the global financial system shook in 2008, many banks collapsed. Canadian banks held firm. Risk had been restrained. Oversight had been conservative. Investors noticed. Meanwhile, climate change altered geography. The Arctic became navigable for longer periods each year. Canada asserted sovereignty over northern waters. Other powers hesitated to agree. Suddenly, the quiet country had a strategic frontier. Patrol vessels were commissioned. Infrastructure expanded. Military exercises increased in icy silence. Because whoever shapes the North shapes leverage. Yet power at home is complicated. Canada calls itself a multicultural mosaic. Immigration reshaped its cities into global crossroads. Growth followed diversity, but housing costs soared. Infrastructure strained. Questions about integration and affordability intensified. Reconciliation with indigenous communities remains incomplete. Discoveries of unmarked graves reopened national grief. The steady image carries unresolved history beneath it. Energy reveals another tension. Canada speaks of climate leadership, yet it exports vast quantities of oil and gas. Pipelines divide provinces. Economic dependence collides with environmental ambition. Abroad, Canada champions human rights and multilateral cooperation. Yet it signs trade deals designed to protect national interests. It sells military equipment while advocating diplomacy. This is not contradiction alone. It is statecraft. Every nation balances ideals with survival. Canada simply does it without spectacle. In times of global volatility, that steadiness attracts attention. Investors seek predictable policy. Skilled migrants seek opportunity. Corporations seek stability. But stability is being tested. Wildfires burn hotter and longer. Heat waves intensify. Arctic ice retreats faster each decade. What happens when a country defined by calm faces environmental upheaval? Demographics add pressure. An aging population strains social systems. Immigration becomes essential to sustain growth. Productivity must rise to maintain prosperity. Can Canada innovate quickly enough? Can it diversify beyond raw resources? Can it maintain cohesion as costs climb? Here is the overlooked truth. Canada is not background scenery in global affairs. It is a hinge between the Atlantic and Pacific, between the United States and emerging powers, between historical injustice and future ambition. Its greatest asset has been patience. Incremental reform, measured decisions, avoidance of extremes, but the 21st century moves at relentless speed. Technological revolutions accelerate, geopolitical rivalries sharpen, climate shifts redraw maps. Will balance remain strength, or will caution become hesitation? For all its quiet tone, Canada understands leverage. Geography is leverage, resources are leverage, reputation is leverage. The question is not whether Canada matters. It does. The deeper question is whether the world recognizes how much influence can hide behind restraint. Behind the calm diplomacy stands a nation shaped by empire, tested by conflict, enriched by migration, and challenged by conscience. A country navigating literal storms and political crosscurrents across a vast northern landscape. The untold truth about Canada is not scandal. It is complexity. And in a world addicted to noise, confrontation, and spectacle, the country that masters steadiness may quietly shape the century. Because sometimes, the quietest nation in the room is the one positioning for the future.